There are hundreds of thousands of species of animals living within the world's oceans, and those animals aren't always the nicest. Whether it's due to territory disputes, issues over food, or simply a good old-fashioned brawl, there are many documented cases of animals fighting other animals, or even man-made objects that were never supposed to be in their territory. You wouldn't believe some of the results. Let's just say that it isn't always the biggest fish that gets the worm. Here are 10 times that sea animals messed with the wrong opponent. Number 10. Orca vs. Tiger shark. Orcas are well known throughout the world as killer whales, but often had a connotation of being more cuddly and nice than deadly. This is probably propagated by organizations and aquariums like SeaWorld, where the animals are trained and exploited to be watched, rather than to exist as they naturally would. The truth is, they definitely have a deadly side. In this video, a pod of orcas slowly approaches a lone tiger shark, which can be seen swimming off in the distance. They take their time with their approach. They know very well that a predator like that could do a lot of damage if they aren't quick and efficient, and they want to make sure that none of their group is killed in the process. All at once, they attack. One of the orcas latches onto the tiger shark with its sharp teeth, impaling its side and releasing blood into the water that the rest of the whales can use to track the thrashing shark. They all occasionally dart in, taking bites out of the massive predator and whittling it down until it can no longer swim effectively. Number 9. Seal vs. Octopus. Seals are adorable, cuddly-looking balls of blubber that aren't ever associated with fights. They're often showcased in aquariums or zoos as being some of the friendliest animals out there, and are even shown walking up to people in the wild because they are so curious. These cute faces, however, can turn deadly if the situation calls for it. This video showcases a giant octopus fighting with a harbor seal. And the two of them seem to have been going at it for quite a while, even before the video began. The octopus is wrapped around the seal's body, likely attempting to drag it down below the water where it won't be able to breathe forever. The seal, however, is ferocious, and we can see it rolling and biting and doing everything in its power to both dislodge the octopus and cause as much damage as possible. Number 8. Sea snake vs. moray eel. You wouldn't be remiss if you couldn't tell the difference between a sea snake and a moray eel. They're nearly the same size after all, and can often share many of the same markings. In this video, however, the difference is pretty obvious, because the sea snake is zebra striped, whereas the moray eel is the telltale, bright banana yellow. A diver swims up on the two of them, locked in an embrace, but not a friendly one. They are biting and twisting and constricting at each other.
Although the sea snake is one of the most venomous animals in the world,
likely over some morsel of food or over territorial rights. These animals often have the same type of hunting ground, and therefore could have been duking it out to see who got to stay on the prime real estate. It is difficult to work out exactly who won in this video, because neither animal is expressly shown to have died. However, it is shown that the sea snake swam away from the fight happy and healthy, whereas the moray eel isn't shown again after the brawl. Because of this, it seems safe to give the win to the sea snake. Hopefully, the fight for its home was worth it. Number 7. Shark vs. hippo. Hippos are widely regarded as some of the fiercest animals in the world. They are incredibly territorial, often attacking anyone and anything that intrude into their space. This includes the very rare shark that makes it that far inland into Africa. It doesn't happen often, but sometimes a shark will follow a fish or a school up a river and end up in a spot that they definitely didn't want to be in. Watching the hippos face off against the shark didn't even seem like a fight. It seems more like a warning sign, with the enormous beasts pretty clearly instructing the big fish to get off their lawn. The shark didn't listen at first, of course, which was a rookie mistake. One large snap by a hippo's jaws, and the shark was badly hurt, swimming away quickly towards the relative safety of the open ocean. If a single bite from the hippo's jaws can do damage like that, it's hard to imagine what it could do if it really put its mind to it. Overall, the shark didn't stand a chance in that fight. The mighty hippopotamus was always going to win, and would likely win against anything else that it is paired up against. Number 6. Stingray vs. crabs. We've seen both stingrays and crabs on this list, but we haven't seen them fighting each other. And surprisingly, this turns out to be quite the battle, because of one key property of most crustaceans' survival strategy: they can't eat all of us. In the video, an enormous stingray can be seen swimming over a huge field of crabs, with seemingly hundreds of them scuttling away and attempting to get away from their ferocious predator. We see a newly molted crab, who is weaker and slower than the rest, be captured and devoured by the titan. The safest spot is directly in the middle of the pod of crabs, as the stingray is unlikely to go for those that are surrounded by others. Moving in a huge cluster is advantageous, but it means that the older or slower crabs will be picked off as the group moves. Overall, it's a rather gruesome way to go, but teamwork seems to really be the thing that keeps these crabs alive. Number 5. Sea lion versus octopus. The ocean is full of predators, and often the most deadly are those that you wouldn't even think about. One of these best examples of this is the sea lion. They may look cute and cuddly from afar, but when they decide that it's time to hunt, they turn into one of the most voracious fighters in the ocean. The sea lion takes the octopus towards the surface so that she can eat and breathe at the same time, rather than having to hold her breath underwater for the duration of her meal. The octopus gets a good solid ink shot into her face, but it doesn't do much to deter the hungry predator. With each bite, the sea lion takes off a tentacle, rendering the octopus incapable of swimming away and escaping its fate.
Yeah.
Eventually, there's no more fight left within it, and the octopus is left lifeless. The sea lion quite handily won that match, and if we're being honest, the octopus never really stood a chance. Number 4. Shrimp versus dragonfish. The dragonfish is pretty famous for being one of those creepy, disturbing fish from the bottom of the ocean. They're very rarely seen other than in draw videos, like the one you're currently watching, because they don't often venture up close enough to the surface to be caught by ordinary cameras. Something even more rare, however, is watching one of these strange fish in a fight. But that is exactly the case as the blackfish comes into contact with what looks like a very large shrimp, which begins to attack it mercilessly. The dragonfish doesn't seem to put up too much of a fight. It might be that it was injured beforehand, or maybe the shrimp just got the drop on it before it could do anything. Either way, it seemed like a pretty one-sided brawl near the end there, with the shrimp pretty handily killing the fish and dragging it away towards whatever lair it had, away from the loud disturbing ROV. Hopefully the dragonfish is better at defending itself in deeper waters, because seeing it being taken down by a crustacean was pretty sad. It didn't stand much of a chance in the end. Number 3. Hammerhead shark versus stingray. Hammerhead sharks are often mocked for their derpy appearance and overall non-aerodynamic shape. These fearsome predators, however, aren't to be trifled with. This video demonstrates a hammerhead on the prowl for its next meal, scanning the seafloor for any signs of life. Eventually, it finds what it's looking for, a stingray buried beneath the sand. The shark attempts to latch onto it, but the ray knows what's going on and immediately darts away, attempting to get away from the shark. It is small and agile, but the shark is strong and has lots of force behind the powerful pumps of its fins. The two engage in a deadly dance, one of life or death, before the hammerhead is eventually able to latch onto the wing of the stingray. There's a reason sharks are well-renowned predators. Their eating habits are fierce, and they're difficult to escape. Number 2. Polar bear versus walrus. Polar bears are widely regarded as some of the fiercest animals in the animal kingdom, and for good reason. They are absolutely terrifying beasts and have no qualms with killing a human being if they believe it'll lend them a decent meal. There's a reason that there's a survival strategy for every bear except the polar bear. Walruses, however, are not easy prey. Their enormous tusks and ferocious attitude are enough to rival most creatures in the ocean, and polar bears are no exception. They are also incredibly good at protecting their herd, and this is seen within this video as the polar bear approaches the island where the walruses reside. There is a short fight between the two of them, with the bear doing its best to grab on, but unfortunately, the walrus is able to slip away at the last moment. The bear is left alone, without food, and with most of the walruses already gone. Surprisingly enough, this one was not a win for the polar bear. Number 1. Benthic fish versus barracuda. The benthic fish is a strange prehistoric-looking animal that likes to hide away in burrows and pretend to be a rock on the ocean floor. Looking at the video at hand, it can be seen just underneath the lip of a hole, with a snail approaching it unknowingly. The fish will remain completely motionless, waiting for some sort of prey to either swim directly over top or to fall directly into the hole. Before the snail could get there, however, a more juicy specimen crosses over the gap. This one was hardly a fair fight. The bright blue barracuda didn't even stand a chance against the benthic. The lair-dwelling fish quickly snapped up its new prey and dragged it down into the depths underground, leaving a very confused snail peering down into the hole that was going to be its doom. And then the snail fell down the hole anyway, likely resigning itself to be a late-night snack. Either way, This victory went pretty safely to the benthic fish, who has effectively mastered the art of surprise. Which of these fights do you think was the most exciting? Do you think any of these animals learned their lesson about fighting whatever they chose to fight? If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. It helps us to understand what kind of content you're looking for and allows us to make bigger, better videos. Tap that bell icon if you're always looking to learn new information, and we look forward to seeing you in the next one.